Each country has a value system and business practices. If you do not really understand how you should communicate with your clients and how you can get closer to your clients, it is very difficult to be successful here.
We need local knowledge. We need a local sensitivity. Therefore, we need excellent local people. We have to use our excellent global network to provide our important clients with the best global services. So we need both. We have to be excellent locally and we have to be excellent globally.
When the office started, expat management came over and hired a lot of local people. And those local people grown up to the leadership position. And this is one of the best example how we want to get into the new market as a Goldman Sachs. We continue to commit to Tokyo office. The economy is still third biggest in the world, and a lot of global investor focusing on Japan.
Many people think that in Japan, an economy that is low growth, has been in stagnation mode for over 2 decades, how can one thrive in such a challenging market environment? Regardless, there have been opportunities to be commercial, to be impactful, to have influence, even in that context.
The nature of the business that we do, and I think the nature of what our clients do, is pretty global. Respecting both the locality and the global connectivity is something that is the most important.
Having had a lot of exposure to our US counterparts or European counterparts or our Asian counterparts have really given me a lot of ideas.
We can bridge between Japanese traditional culture and overseas international culture. We are pretty much creating the new, borderless culture.
It's obviously very important for us as Goldman Sachs in this region to respect the local culture, but add what is our distinct advantage, being a global financial services firm, so that we can provide value-added services and products to the clients that we support here.
Great. Thank you so much for your kind introduction, David. Hello, everybody. My name is Ken Shibusawa. Good morning for you, for those of you joining us from Japan, and good evening for you in the United States, but understand from all over the world. So thank you very much for joining us for this event. My name is Ken Shibusawa, and I'll be speaking for the next 30 minutes regarding my great-great-grandfather. But the gist of the talk is not to reflect the past, but to rather think about our future.
Masa, let's start with you. What is the legal significance, the practical significance of that ruling?
It was a milestone event for Japan in every aspect, for LGBT community, of course, but for the Japanese history as well. It's been, I have to say, slow here when it comes to recognizing the relationship or recognizing the LGBT community. But with this new court ruling, now the Diet member has started to discuss about this issue, which is needed to legalize the marriage in Japan. But also on the back of this court decision, now the newspapers, TV shows, all the media had started to talk about this issue, which had been lacking in the Japanese community. And I'm very hopeful that would move the needle.
Came out in 2015. What prompted you to make that decision and do it at that point in time?
Sure. When I started my career in 1990s, started with Japanese bank, there was no role model at work in Japan. There was actually no one at work in Japan as far as I knew. And if you turn the TV, you saw gay people rarely on the screen, and on their occasion you saw them, they're subject of ridicule or joke. So prejudice was everywhere, both at work as it was in society. So coming out at work essentially meant career suicide, or killing your career back then. So it's natural I was in the closet.
Yeah, I think the change is significant. Just to give you the number, around 2010, the Pride Parade in Tokyo only had a couple of thousand participants. I remember that in 2012, when I participated for the first time, the GS was one of the few companies who actually had a company flag and logo everywhere, and they'd work with the company t-shirts. I actually met Akiko Koda at the parade, not the workplace, when I actually met her for the first time. It was actually on the street in Shibuya, and we talked about how Japan can actually change and how the corporate can drive the change as well. Since then, it's just it's amazing, I have to say. You know, it used to be the LGBT was not a common word in Japan. We need to explain what the L stands for. But now the people understand that, and the people is talking about the challenges the community faces.
Move the market, even for a day?
So I think if you look at most of the surveys, that most economists assume that the Bank of Japan is actually going to maintain the status quo, i.e. really not do much after today's meeting. Frankly, because I think there are, although they say that there are a lot of options, we think, in our view, that the options are actually relatively limited, number one. And number two, it's ahead of the Fed's decision, so really don't want to make a bold move ahead of the Fed. And third, if they were to move dramatically, for example, to cut rates right now, of course, there are some negative repercussions that could be impacting Japan's banking sector. So I think for all those reasons, we think most likely they're going to stay put, and we believe the markets are actually already discounted that scenario. To your question, though, what could they do? One minor tweak, for example, that they could contemplate is to consider extending the timeline for the forward guidance. Right now, they're setting themselves for keeping ultra-low monetary or interest rates until the spring of 2020. We frankly think it's going to be longer than that, but something official along those lines of extending that guidance could be an option. But we don't think that's going to be likely.
Seems like one of
the reason for the Japan aging is due to three factors. One is the declining birth rate. Second is people are living longer. And third would be the low immigration rate. We see business opportunities arising through the Japan aging society. And we believe there are four key areas for growth. First is accelerating consolidation among the small mid-sized companies. Small mid-sized companies would be facing successor issues. An example would be the dispensing pharmacy market, where most of the owners have started their business before 1990.
At Goldman Sachs, we are extremely committed to the development of innovative ways to support clean energy worldwide. Goldman Sachs has a $40 billion commitment to renewable energy, both in financing and investing in this space. In Japan, we have developed a product called Japan Renewable Project Bond Trust.